Hello?
Thank you, Miss Florencio.
Yes. Hello.
All right. I need you to raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
The first thing I want to ask, and this is just a preliminary matter, I want to know why your answer was filed late.
I didn't see the notice right away. So when I seen it, I was able to go up there and answer in person.
Why didn't you see it right away?
I wasn't around at the time when the notice was placed here. I wasn't here. I had left because he had just gotten out of jail for battery against me, and I left for like a week because he was very hostile in the house toward me. And while
Objection, Judge. Objection, Judge. Hearsay.
No, that's not hearsay. She's telling me what her experience is.
exactly. So as soon as I
Just a
got out,
second.
sorry.
Do not. This is not a free for all just because we're on Zoom, everybody. Okay? He had an objection. Your objection for hearsay is overruled. Is there something else, Mr. Palumbo?
I would ask that my witness be sequestered if we're going to be getting into the merits of the case. William Loftus is my witness, and if we're going to be having any testimony and the court wants to sequester him, I would request that.
Sure. We can pop him in the waiting room. I'm just trying to figure out about the answer and whether I'm going to.
William Loftus lives
Second,
out
Miss
of town.
Florencio. Miss Florencio. I'm sorry to raise my voice. I don't have a deputy when I'm here on Zoom, but when I'm talking, no one else is talking. And I'm trying to move a witness at an attorney's request, and then I'm going to come back and talk to you, okay? All right. So is it William or James?
William is my witness. James is the petitioner.
All right. We need to move William and bring James back, please. All right. Is this the screen we want? We have your witness sequestered, Mr. Palumbo?
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Florencio, so you were saying you had left because someone had been arrested and returned to the home and was aggressive, and so you left? And what day did you leave?
I would have to go in my messages to see. It was like on it was like I want to say one day before he got out of jail.
I just don't know when that day is, so that's why I'm asking.
So he was arrested on like January 4th. And by the time once he got out of jail, he was instructed to go to the court and file a fake eviction notice, stating that he was charging me $1,500.
Okay, just a second. I'm just asking about why you filed your answer late. So I don't want to get into any of the things. So you left on what day, and when did you come back?
I left on like I want to say the 5th.
Okay, and when did you return?
Or the 6th, and I came back like on the I want to say like 2 weeks after that. Like I was gone for about maybe like 8 or 9 days.
Okay, so if you left, let's say you left on the 6th, so you would have come back around the 16th of January?
I believe so. I have to go to my messages because I just know I was gone for like almost 2 weeks.
Why don't you go to your messages, because this is pretty important.
Okay. Yeah, let me go to my messages. Yeah, I came back on the 23rd, sorry.
Okay. So why did it take until February 6th for you to come and answer?
When I got here, the notice, it wasn't on the door. So I got back on the 23rd. I had received a phone call or a voicemail from his dad stating that they were trying to put the house for sale and that he would be coming into town and that he wanted everyone out. One of the young ladies that was...
Objection. This is hearsay, Judge.
Yeah. All right, Miss Florencio, I need you to not tell me what other people said. I'm really trying to just figure out, why don't you tell me where the notice was and why you didn't see it, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I didn't see the notice because it wasn't out in the open for me. One of the other person that was living here...
Objection, hearsay.
She's maybe saying, let's hear what she says. The person hands it to her.
So, yeah, so that's what happened. Um, the person, it was someone living downstairs. They had the notice and they informed me about it. And that's how I found out about the notice.
Do you know what day that person gave you the notice?
I don't remember the exact date. I just know that
Miss Florencio, here's my question. Once you got the notice, when, like, did you wait a while to come and answer?
so once I got the notice, I had to take off from work and I was able to come up there to the courthouse and give an answer. I didn't know.
How many days after you found out about the notice, would you say?
This was, when did I even, are you able to see when I answered?
It was February 6th.
Right. It was literally, what day was that? Like the 20, I want to say like the 27th. The the young lady that was living here that gave me the notice, she was leaving because, well, I don't want to say hearsay, but she was, everyone moved out and she handed me the notice. And then I let my job know, hey, I have to go to court. I need to answer to an eviction. And when I immediately just came up there.
So it took you maybe a couple of weeks to come up and answer? Is that what you're saying? You came out on the 27th?
It took me like I want to, by the next week, like the following week, I
All
was
right.
able I was able to go up there to the court. I just let my job know that I needed to have a day off so that I can go up there and answer. And
All
so
right.
that's what I did. And I'm not sure. I think when I did the answer, I think I even put that in there that I had to take off work to come up there. And
All right. I have one more question for you. Are you still on the property?
yes, I'm here. I have.
That's it. That's all I need to know right
Okay.
now.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Mr. Palumbo, do you want to ask her any other questions about just this sort of answer issue?
Ma'am, did you ever serve your answer on my office, either email, drop it off at my office, or put it in the mail to me?
I don't know who you are. This is my first time seeing you, so I don't know any your name.
Ma'am, I would ask you to answer yes or no, and then you can go on and explain. So let me do that again. Did
Mm-hmm.
you ever email me the answer, mail me the answer, or drop it off at my office?
No, I don't have any information. I've never met you. I've never heard from you. So there was no way for me to contact you or know where your office is or anything. I heard about you from Jim, but I didn't I didn't have your information. He never gave me your information before he went to drug rehab. Nothing. He just was saying that everybody gonna have to leave.
Okay. Mr. Palumbo, I mean,
Okay.
here in magistrate, we have pro se defendants. They don't serve the answers
Right.
on the attorneys. They're in court. It doesn't even, under the summons, it just tells them where to answer.
Right. Well, nevertheless, Judge, I do renew my motion to strike her answer. I'm asking the court to immediately enter a writ of eviction, not just for her, but for any people who might be found at the property. And we're asking for $3,000 in attorney's fees pursuant to 13-611. Judge, the evidence and testimony is going to show that this is unlike any case before this court today. This is not a tenant who is not paying rent. This is a guest. Mr. Loftus was doing her a favor and let her.
Mr. Palumbo, I'm just trying to.
It's frustrating, Judge. I apologize. I apologize.
Consider it.
I'm sorry?
I'll be back to y'all in. Can anyone come back to the cameras and turn on your cameras for me? Miss Florencio, if you can come back, please. Miss Florencio?
Yes, I'm trying to come back on.
All right, I'm going to send you a prompt to help you start your video. Sometimes that helps. Okay. Miss Florencio.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. All right. I just have a couple of questions.
Okay.
And I guess honestly, Mr. Palumbo, this might be for you to start. And again, I'm not trying to get into a full-fledged hearing right now. I'm just trying to get some parameters going. I need to understand a little bit better. You filed by checking all three grounds where people usually just hit one. So, or maybe it was your
Yeah,
client.
Judge, if I may, the case began with Mr. Loftus pro se. And I believe, when he filed, he was given incorrect advice. Nevertheless, it's been pending for quite some time.
Listen,
And,
I really just want some targeted answers here.
okay,
So
so,
what is the ground that you're proceeding under?
that she's,
Figure out. You said she's a guest, but then you're asking for past due rent. She's saying
no,
in her
no, so
the
we're,
state
we're, we're waiving any past due rent, and we'll even waive attorney's fees. We just need the writ of eviction, getting her and any other people out so he can return to his house. He's currently in residential rehab as a result of all this. If the court would just like to swear witnesses, I'll make an opening statement and we can just get on with it. My clients are frustrated, Judge, and I apologize if I'm not giving you the information that you need.
Okay. So what is the ground that your dispossessory warrant, if you had started the case, would be filed under?
That she's in remaining in unlawful possession and she needs to be evicted.
Okay, so failure to pay rent, holding over beyond the
Holding
terms
over.
of the lease. Is there a lease?
There's
Or is
no
she the
lease.
tenant sufferance?
Tenant at sufferance, Judge. There's no lease. He, and
That's okay. You just said holdover. Now you switch to tenant sufferance. I just want to make sure we're clear. So it's tenant sufferance.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right. All right. Ms. Florencio, I'm going to go ahead and swear folks in. I'm probably not going to be considering your answer because it was so late. Even after you, I understand you weren't there, but even after you found out about it, it took you so long to come file your answer. So I'm going to hear from them and then we'll go from there. Okay. You can, Mr. Palumbo, who do you need to swear in first?
Okay. Jim, can you raise your hand and take yourself off mute? Jim, do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, can I give a brief opening statement, or would you just like me to get into Mr. Loftus? I know the court's time is of the essence.
Yeah, let's just go right into it.
Okay. Jim, explain to the judge briefly how Miss Florencio, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that name, came to be in your house.
All right. Thank you, Judge. We have known each other for about 2 years. We've been friends on and off. We've had multiple instances where she's been violent against me. So I have not, I went through a phase of not talking to her for about 3 to 4 months. And she sent me a text saying she was getting evicted from her current place, asked if I could help her out with the dog.
Hang on. Do you recall when that text was?
That was like mid-October.
Okay, then what happened next?
She was staying at a friend's house that did not allow pets, so she asked if I could watch the dog while she gets into her apartment, which she should have in about a week. And I said that was fine, I would watch the dog. She came over to check on it about 4 days later, and the door was open. I was downstairs in the basement working, and the dog apparently got out. I thought she had taken him with him. I was working, it did not go outside. So I felt bad because, I like that dog, and I helped put up flyers and printed out flyers for her. And about 4 days later, she decided, she came over and said, I'm going to come over and look for the dog myself. So she came over and slept on the couch, and helped me put up flyers for the first 2 days.
So hang on, at this point, was it your understanding that she was moving in and she was going to be living there?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. She had just said that she was only coming over to look for the dog.
Okay. Have you ever accepted any money for her to live there?
Absolutely not. And
Is there a lease agreement saying she can live there?
Absolutely not.
Does she have a key to the apartment?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so tell the judge, she's sleeping on the couch, you're looking for the dog, what happens next?
I continued to look for the dog. She basically walked down the neighborhood a couple times, but then continued to stay there and smoke weed every single day.
Did you guys end up finding the dog?
We did find the dog about a week and a half later.
And then she left and went home?
I don't know the exact time of how long it was, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but
Okay.
her friend at one of these hotels of ill repute that her friend was staying at and she was staying at called her and said that she had found they had found the.
I'm gonna cut you off, Jim. So they find the dog, and then at that point, did you say, it's time for you to leave or something else?
Absolutely.
And what happened next?
She said, "Oh, I'm getting a place. I'll be out in a couple days, and it never turned into anything. She never.
Second. So when did you first ask her to leave, Mr. Loftus?
And I said, "So where are you going? When are you leaving?"
So was that like, can you help orient me? Where are we? Like early November?
Yes, early November. I believe I can look back at the text, but I believe it's like November 2nd or 3rd.
Okay, and without getting into the details, I don't know if you heard me say to the judge that this has caused you a lot of turmoil. Tell the judge where you are right now. Where are you speaking from?
Judge, I'm in Colorado right now. It is not a safe environment for me to go home. I have children. I bought that house so I could have my kids. We have a split custody agreement with my ex-wife. I made it clear when she was there that she was not allowed to be there when the kids were here, and she completely disregarded that.
When you say you're in Colorado, where specifically in Colorado? Are you at a hotel? Are you in where are you in Colorado?
I am in a rehab program, which I've been since January 24th.
Okay, and when do you expect to be released?
No later than April 26th, I believe.
And can you go back to your house when you're released?
Not in this state, and I believe she has other people that are living there as well, and she's got people that are sleeping in my daughter's bedroom.
So please stop shaking your head, okay? It's just
I have witness testimony from my neighbors that say people come in and out of that house all the time. The HOA has complained multiple times and fined me for her behavior. Her dog has destroyed all of my new carpets that I put in. She lets the dog poop and pee everywhere.
Okay, let me cut you off. Jim, who do you own that place with?
I own it with my father.
Okay, and since you've been at rehab, has your father been talking to the HOA and others in regard to the place?
Absolutely.
Okay, so your testimony to the judge is that your understanding was you were letting her stay there for a brief amount of time to find her dog. Is that correct or something else?
That is absolutely correct.
She found her dog and then you asked her to leave. Is that correct or something else?
That is correct.
And in the interim, when she wouldn't leave, there were a bunch of shenanigans involving drugs, alcohol, DUIs, assaults, and the police. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And there's a couple of open cases right now in regard to all that, correct?
Correct.
And a lot of this is why you are in rehab as we speak. Is that fair?
That is the largest reason, yes.
Okay. Explain to the judge, describe the property. Is it a freestanding house? Is it a townhouse? Are there families there? Where is the property?
Yeah, Judge, it's a townhouse it's a group of townhouses called North Crest condominiums. Lots of families with young children. I have my 3 young children there in a room for the boys and a room for my daughter. So it's 3 levels. There's the upstairs, there's the main level, and then there is a basement.
And has anyone complained to you about the condition of the property since you've left?
Yes, I've had multiple complaints from multiple different neighbors. The HOA has complained. They threatened to, or I don't know if they are fining me or not. We're trying to work with them and let them understand that we are in the process of doing this, asking them to be patient with us. But we have had countless complaints even since I've left.
Okay. And what is your understanding of who's living there now?
I believe Khadijah, well, I know Khadijah is because she's there right now. I believe one of her friends, Buju, is staying in my laundry room and he refuses to leave, even though he's made countless statements that he's not there. I've heard multiple reports that she leaves the door unlocked and lots of people come flooding in and out, and also that she's had another male sleeping and living over there in my daughter's bedroom.
Do you think that there's drugs going on in the apartment?
Absolutely. There's not been a day that I did not see her smoking marijuana.
That's just that I don't
Okay.
making judgment calls on lifestyle.
So, Jim, are you asking the judge to sign a writ of eviction today, removing Ms. Floricio and anyone else that might be in the apartment?
Yes, please. Please.
Are you willing to forego attorney's fees and any money just to get her out?
Yes.
Is there anything about this case that you want the judge to know?
Just this has been the worst experience of my life, and I tried to be a friend to her, and it's just I've never once seen someone take advantage of someone so much. It's really destroyed my life.
Thank you, Jim. I have no further questions for Mr. Loftus, Judge.
Okay. Just a moment. I guess I have a question for you, Mr. Loftus. I know you asked her in early November to leave. Did you ask her to leave again?
I have asked her countless times. I even have on video her saying, I don't have to leave. I don't have to pay you anything. You can't do anything about it. I've asked her over 100 times to leave. And I told her, I'm going to rehab and that we are selling the house. It has to be, you guys have to be out by this 24th date. My father came in after and told everyone that she had to leave. And she's been there for since January 24th is the day I left. So she's been in my house doing whatever. So yes, ma'am. I've asked her countless times.
All right. Well, I have
I was briefly going to call if once the court is done with this witness, I was briefly going to call Mr. William Loftus. His testimony, he's a co-owner, and he'll have more knowledge about the recent damage and the complaints made to the HOA. He's been in touch with them, and
I mean,
I
y'all
believe
aren't asking for damages, or money, so I don't really need to hear about that. It's just about
okay, well, he can
absolutely.
testify to the comings and goings of people in the property, and he's had, I believe, conversations with the respondent also asking her to leave.
Just a second.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Florencio, I mean, you filed your answer late, and so the only reason that you were given notice to come to court was because the judge was like, I'm not sure about some of this stuff in this answer, but you filed it so late, and so you're not even really a party. I mean, you are a party, but you're here. So I mean, I can hear from you briefly, but
Okay. Is it okay for me to talk?
well, you've been asked to leave and you haven't. I mean, is that correct?
So,
That's a yes or no.
that is not correct. I do have messages from Jim stating that I am allowed to live here. I also have messages in January after the first arrest that he sent me and another young lady that he had living here stating how much he wanted from us weekly.
Okay, listen. All right. I'll hear from you. You can mute yourself, Ms. Florenzo. Mr. Palumbo, go ahead.
Judge, there's been nothing before the court in the form of admissible testimony.
I thought you wanted to call your.
Oh, Mr. Yeah, can we bring I apologize, Judge. Hang on, can I have one more question for Mr. Jim Loftus before we release?
Go ahead.
Jim, take yourself off mute.
Yes.
Jim, is this the first time Miss Floricio has refused to leave someone's apartment that you know of?
No, absolutely not. And she asked me to go with her to support her in a eviction court with someone that she had been squatting with, living for free for 3 to 4 years. And he had tried to get her out countless times. So he had to take her to court, and she never paid in that situation either. So
Do you remember what court, what county that was in?
DeKalb County, I believe.
Okay. And did she say anything to you about, something like, I know I can get away with this, or they're not going to do anything? Or what comments, if anything, did she make around that procedure?
Said squatters have more rights than tenants, pretty much. That they can't make me go, and they'll just have to drag me out and throw my stuff out. That's when I'll leave.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Loftus. And if the courts don't, Mr. Loftus, I'd like to bring Mr. William Loftus in. William, can you hear me?
Yes, I do. Hear me all right?
You got to raise your volume just a little, sir.
Maybe I can put the microphone closer. Can you hear me okay?
Nope. I can't really hear you.
How about this?
Yep, perfect. Can you raise your hand? Right hand?
Yes,
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, so help you God?
yes.
State your name for the record.
William Lawrence Loftus.
How are you related to Mr. Jim Loftus?
He's my son.
And do you know the defendant, Kadisha Floricio?
Not personally, no.
Have you ever spoken to her?
Yes.
Okay. And what is your relationship to 3322 North Crest Road, Apartment A in Atlanta, Georgia?
I helped my son buy that condo after his divorce. I wanted my grandkids to have a safe place to live, and so I think I gave $25,000.
Okay. Are you on the mortgage or the deed?
Not on the mortgage, but I'm on the deed.
Okay. So you're a co-owner of that property.
Correct.
Okay. So since Jim has been in rehab, have you been to the property?
Yes. I was
Describe
at
to the
property.
judge what's going on at the property.
Well, the property has been taken over by squatters, effectively. So I had people in there. I told them to get out, or call the police. Some did. In fact, all did, to my knowledge, except for Miss Fuller-Runshow. Forgive me, I don't know how to pronounce the name correctly, but to my knowledge, everybody got out except her. She had been served with a notice by Jim that was on the front door, and
Okay, so did you ever ask her personally to get out?
yes.
And what, if
Multiple
anything,
occasions.
did she say to you?
She really didn't respond to me. She didn't respond to me whatsoever.
Did you go into the property and look around?
Yes.
And what does it look like? Does it look like it's been kept in nice condition? Is it a disaster or something in between?
It's a disaster. And let me just say that in May, my wife and I and Jim's mom went to the property, and we had everything completely cleaned up and restored, new carpets.
This
new
is
paint.
May of 2024, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah,
And we're
sir, I
So
appreciate
I'm just
that.
saying that I have a baseline. When I got
Yeah.
there in January of 25, the house has got dog poop in every section of the carpet. You can't walk in without smelling marijuana odors. There are holes in the drywall. There are broken doors to almost every room, the broken windows. The basement was screened off, and pit bulls and large other dogs, and it was overrun by other people's animals, other people, and it was just an absolute disaster. The contractor I've been working with has gone back in to look at the property since we restored it in May, and indicated we got to replace all the carpets. There's no way to get. We're going to have to repaint everything. There's no way to get the odors out of the walls. And it's going to probably cost at least $12,500 to get it all restored to the way it was in May.
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
As an owner of the property, are you asking the judge to immediately sign a writ of eviction for Mr. Felicio and anyone else who might be in that property?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Jim doesn't
Is
have
there-
a job, and I need to get the property sold. And by
Is
the
there
way, I have a
anything
power of
else?
attorney for.
Is there anything else about this case that you want the judge to know?
Well, I think the police perhaps misinterpreted the law. I noticed that all of your other cases were LLCs and corporations who were landlords. This is Jim's personal residence. This is a residence I bought so he would have a safe place for my grandkids. The grandkids come over to his house every other week, and the Ms. Fuller has stayed over against our consent. She has actually taken over my granddaughter's bedroom, put a lock on the door, so my contractor was in the other day and said that she couldn't access my granddaughter's bedroom. Just complete violation of everything for my grandkids, for my son. I believe that she's been a squatter. She came in for 3 days. Jim said she could come and stay, but she had to.
Mint.
William,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You need to have your face in the screen. This is not time for you to show me the apartment. Mr.
William,
Just go ahead.
William, so has anyone who lives there or anyone from the homeowners association reached out to you about the activities going on at the apartment?
Yes.
Go ahead. Tell the judge what's happened.
One of the board members from the HOA and I have been communicating back and forth, and she said the place has become, it appears like it's a drug den, and strangers coming into the area, strangers coming into the home, police events coming in at 3 a.m. Ms. Folarancho has been out in the parking lot shouting at the top of her lungs at people and strangers at 3 a.m. The HOA has said that this is a neighborhood of families with young kids, and they've turned this into a drug house. And the next door neighbor, the HOA continues to tell me that there's constant trash around the parking lot. There's trash in the bushes. There's trash. They've actually begun fining Jim, even though he's not even there. He's getting daily fines of somewhere $45 a day because of the persistent troubles that are going on there.
Okay.
So I've asked
Thank
them
you.
Yep.
Thank you.
The next door neighbors also said that you can't walk by without overwhelming wafts of marijuana odor coming out of the house. That's apparently all they do. And she's invited other strangers into the place, and that's all they do is smoke pot in there.
Okay. So, Judge, I have no further questions for this witness unless you do, ma'am.
I don't.
Thank you, William. William, you don't have to go into a breakout room, but we're done with you. So I just ask you, if you want to observe, just put yourself on mute, please.
I will.
Judge, I have no further witnesses.
All right.
Oh, excuse me. Is it okay if I just say something to you, please?
Ms. Florencio, I'm in a bit of a quandary here because your answer was not timely filed and was basically this case was put on the calendar as a courtesy to you to see if there was any reason that your answer was filed late, a valid reason to excuse it, because we do have some of those, okay? And I have not heard anything from you excusing the tardiness. And so, I mean, honestly, this case, now that I don't have a reason to hear from you.
I received the notice on the 28th, and I made it to court by the 6th. I let my job know that I needed
Ms.
to.
Florencio, I'm sorry, it's already, even if you give me those dates, even if I count it, that's more than 7 days, okay? So I am going to treat this as a motion to strike. It's going to be a default.
Ma'am,
I'm sorry, Ms. Florencio, I'm going to go ahead and issue my order now, and I'm going to explain some things, okay? So you can go ahead and put yourself on mute because I'm talking. All right. So this is going to be the defendant's motion to strike. I'm sorry, the plaintiff's motion to strike is granted. The defendant's answer was untimely filed and no valid reason has been given to excuse the tardiness. A writ of possession can be applied for today. Mr. Palumbo, I'm not sure I've ever seen you in this court before, but the way we do it in DeKalb is you actually have to file an application for a writ of possession, and it has to be after I sign the order, which I have started writing out, so I'm going to send it in today. But once that has been filed, you can file your application for a writ of possession, okay? And there's a form that we use here in DeKalb. Now, I can put in here, there is no right to an appeal for a default judgment, but just in case that the defendant does decide to file a petition for review, I can put in requirement that the defendant pay into the registry of the reviewing court an amount to be due for rent, and that would be the only way that a writ of possession would not issue. Sometimes people do file petitions for review even when they're not appropriate, and so that's why I'm wondering if you want to give me some testimony about what the fair market value of rent would be, or what, if rent was being charged, what it would be, Mr. Palumbo.
Okay, Jim, take yourself off mute quickly. Jim, how big is the place? How many bedrooms?
3 bedrooms upstairs, and then the basement's considered a room, so
How many square feet approximately?
I'm not sure. I think 1,200.
Okay, and is there street parking or is there a garage?
There's street parking.
Okay, what do you think the fair market value would be if you were to rent the whole house out?
If I was renting the whole house out, I could probably maybe 4,000 or 5,000.
Okay, so are you asking the judge to make it $4,500 the fair market value of rent
Yes.
per month?
Yes.
Thank you. You put yourself back on mute. Thank you.
I mean, that's not really comps or anything. I mean, how much is the mortgage monthly payment?
It's about 1,500, and the HOA is 300.
I mean, do you have any testimony to give about what your answer, what your neighbor, or do any of your neighbors rent it out?
Not many people rent. Most of the people are owners in that place.
Okay. All right.
So the $600 I Zelled you and the $4,000 for cash up until July, I'm not getting that back.
You never.
And you are.
Jim?
Ms. Florencio, this isn't a free-for-all. We don't just talk to the parties, okay?
Judge, a question for you're correct. I haven't had the privilege of appearing before you in this court before. I have previously filed applications for writ. What you're saying to me is wait until you enter your order and then file another one?
I'm saying, I mean, you could go ahead and file your application, but my order is sitting in front of me right now. It's going to have to be sent to the clerk. I mean, it'll be filed later today, but yeah.
Right, but what I'm asking is I've previously filed application for a writ. Do you need me to add another one to the system is what I'm saying?
Because
Okay.
it needs to be pursuant, the form needs to be, pursuant to my order, not because she didn't file an answer.
Gotcha.
May I ask a question?
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just need to make flight arrangements to get out there if I was, that's all.
You could text me, William. Text me.
All right, so what I'm going to do, I am, just in case Ms. Florencio files a petition for review, she is going to have to pay into the registry of the reviewing court $1,800, and every month thereafter by the 5th, the same amount in order to keep possession of the property, and the details on how that would happen. I mean, I am marking, this is a default really, there is no basis for a petition for review in a default judgment, but just based on some of the dynamics that are going on here today, I am doing this I'm putting this in, okay, just in case. All right, so Ms. Florencio, I think we have your email address because you're here, so you got notice, so you'll get a copy of this, and all the instructions will be on there. I'm going to write, so the writ can issue, I mean, the other thing is,
Also, I'm sorry, Judge. I just wanted to say they abandoned their cats here, and I've been taking care of the cats since he's been in drug rehab. And I also just wanted to say that before he left on the 28th, his Mr. Williams had the cops come here for squatters, and James is on body recording camera in front of DeKalb County Police, telling them that I am not a squatter here, and that his dad is only doing this for retaliation because his dad is trying to sell a house. This is on body cam. So I'm not to come into court and to lie to you and come on. I've been taking care of this house. I'm cleaning this house. They abandoned 2 cats here. Mr. Williams came into town, gave away his dog to neighbors, and I'm literally taking care of this house. No one lives here. The police came here. Jim Loftus has told the cops on camera on like January 26th that I'm not a squatter, that his dad is just calling the cops from out of town. Twice. He's on body cam telling the county police this outside here since the eviction. This is crazy. They literally have 2 cats in this house that I'm taking care of. I have 1 dog and I'm going to work.
Ms.
Like
so I'm sorry your answer was filed late. I am gonna send this order over to the clerk in just a few moments. You all will get a copy of it once it's been filed, and you can go from there. All right,
okay.
y'all. I guess I'll tell you this, Mr. Palumbo, any application for a writ of possession has to match exactly the dispossessory warrant. Okay.
Yes, I've run into that problem and I will make it match.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get this submitted, and thank you all for being here today. And you all are excused from court at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Judge, one thing before we go. So last time when I filed my application for a writ, the clerk wanted it notarized. Now, as a member of the bar, I don't have to notarize it, do I? It was an extra step for me to get it notarized, this writ.
I'll let you contact the clerk's office. I believe there's a couple ways that people do it.
Okay, thank you very much.
With you, there are forms where I've seen
Okay.
it several ways. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you all.